Okay, have you been making sure that you are getting enough nutrients as an ostomate? So this is important to persons with digestive diseases and disorders, but this is also imperative to ostomy patients. And the reason I bring this up is that more recently I did a Facebook Live where we were discussing absorbing nutrients. And I know that this is kind of a topic for some people. I don't have this specifically for myself, but I do know there are times where there are times where I go through periods of, losing too much. And I know my output's a lot based on things that I've eaten or things that I've done to myself. So it isn't always just your condition, but we also have to be really cognizant of the things that we're putting in our body and the things that we're doing to our body. So if you are somebody who just naturally has an issue with keeping nutrients in your body, having an ostomy can make that even more of an issue, because we've taken out several inches or feet of our intestines, and we've diverted the amount of time digestion has to take place in our body because we have it coming out somewhere else. Yeah, it's imperative that we keep the nutrients we have, but how can we get the best out of it? I've learned a few tips on my own. I've heard other people talk about a few things, and I just want to bring those few things to light. Some of them you may already know, a lot of them you may already know, but you just never know who you're going to help. So I like to share or overshare the information that I have received and pass it on. Now, I did a video prior to this many months ago on juicing, and I find that juicing, although time consuming and tedious, it is super imperative for someone like me. Taking in the high fiber foods causes a blockage for me, and probably for a lot of people. We are dealing with inflammation in our intestines, we're dealing with scar tissue, and some of us, like myself, have a slow moving digestive system. And if you aren't moving the stuff fast enough, high fiber content is going to back you up. I've literally had to stay away from the high grain bread and the high wheat, although those things are great for you, I just can't have them anymore. Especially like Ezekiel bread. I love that. I love that I'm eating the flourless bread, but I just can't do it. I keep some in my freezer and I'll have a piece here and there, but that's the most I can do because it's just not flowing through my system. On the other spectrum, you have people who have a fast moving digestive system. You also still have to be really careful with these high fiber fruits and vegetables because they are raw and you're not cooking them down. And the thing that sucks is that's where all the nutrients is. Having too much of that can cause blockages again, because when your system's moving so fast, your system's trying to move that stuff through, and it will block up where you have scar tissue or inflammation. So both sides of the spectrum, we really have to be careful with what we're eating. So in the other video I did, like I was just saying, it's about juicing, and this is where you're going to get the most out of the foods that you need. Ultimately, it tastes really good. It's really good for you. Even if it moves through you fast, you're still getting some of the nutrients and you're not dealing with a blockage. The other thing is chewing your food mindfully. I myself tend to overeat portion sizes, and I think a lot of us do. We've all been led to believe that like normal portion sizes are like extravagant. No, I think they like to say like a fistful or something, but you just keep in mind, we need to eat slower, enjoy the sweet, salty, bitter, pungent, whatever it is that we're craving. We need to enjoy it still, but be very mindful when we're eating, which means sitting down at each meal, quiet space, taking the time to chew your food thoroughly, taking your time to savor all those textures and flavors. And it doesn't mean not having what you're craving. It just means slowing down while you're eating it and enjoying it. And I still have this issue myself. I still find myself like sometimes doing it, and I have to remind myself because I've just been so programmed to eat on the go or eat fast. I waitressed or bartended a lot in my past, and yeah, we didn't have breaks. If we got hungry, it was grab a bite to eat on the go. It's just not good on our systems. We're pushing too much into our systems, too fast, too much, and it's not digesting the right way. Taking a walk after you eat a meal is great practice, but giving yourself time to let it settle first, taking a slow walk out in nature specifically. The other thing is hydration. When we have these moments of having our bowels move things so fastly through it, we tend to become dehydrated fast, and you don't always know you're dehydrated. I think for a majority of my life, I've just been dehydrated. The hydration IVs are really good. I've been drinking those off and on. Also the emergency drinks, those little packets. It isn't just about getting these things in your system. It's about making sure they're the right things that you're getting in your system, right? It's taking the time, but then also making sure that it's the right things. It's so easy to grab on the go, grab things that look healthy, but then just turn out not to be very healthy. Monitoring your output. This is super important. And I feel like if you're an ostomate, like you kind of always have to monitor your output. You have no choice but to monitor your output. You wear a bag. You know if you're going or not. But sometimes we get to doing things, we get busy in our lives, and we're not really paying attention. It's happened to me a few times where it's been a few days and I'm like, gosh, I really haven't been going. Like, what did I do? What did I eat that's blocking me up? And it happens a lot. I mean, it just even the other day, I realized for 2 days in a row, I ate oatmeal. I love oatmeal. Oatmeal's great, and you should eat oatmeal. But for me, 2 days in a row at this specific period of my time was not good. I don't know why. It could be just that I had worked a lot and I had a lot going on. So maybe a little stress is causing a little inflammation, and the inflammation is being brought on, being worsened by eating things that are harder to digest. My other suggestion to that is when you are eating things that are higher to digest, dilute it as much as possible. Get the water going, get the fluids going, specifically fluids that aren't carbonated. Again, not good for you. Try to stay away from alcohol as much as possible. I know that's hard, especially during the holidays, but just being mindful. If you're gonna have an alcoholic drink, back it up with a glass of water. The last but not least, this is hard for a lot of people, and this has been a hard lesson for me. I don't know why I couldn't learn my lesson earlier, but it's avoiding too much sugar or like the high fructose corn syrups. Those things will trigger my bowels so badly that whatever's in me can just sometimes just pass right through me. Sometimes, not all the time. Again, it's like, it's this process that I really never perfected, but I know that if I just get better at staying away from those things, or only eating those things once I have a coating of something healthy in my stomach, I have noticed that makes a huge difference. But starting out on an empty stomach and eating something super sugary, for me, it doesn't work. It will really trigger my bowels in an unhealthy way. Okay, so just going back to this topic, which I probably didn't even introduce in the beginning, which is absorbing nutrients as an ostomate. Okay, juicing. So getting your nutrients through juicing. Very good idea. Chewing your food, taking your time, being mindful with the time that you have, enjoying the textures and the flavors. Taking a post-meal walk. Hydration. Staying hydrated. Electrolytes. Hydration IVs, something of that nature. Monitor your output, making sure you're monitoring not just how much, but how loose, the consistency of your output. avoiding sugars and some of those triggering foods. They might be different for you, but you know, for some people it's sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Those I know for me. Also dairy, that's another one. Not that dairy has anything to do with nutrients, but it does constipate me and blow me up. So you might want to check on that. I've switched to a lot of like dairy-free options. So like vegan cheese, and I do oat milk or almond milk. And actually everything tastes really good. Like you get used to it after a while, but it does taste really good. I do non-dairy creamer in my coffee in the mornings, and stevia. Again, these are just healthy options. Some of them are more expensive, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Your health is worth it. Specifically, it's about paying close attention to your diet and the responses that your body gives you. Those can look differently at all different times. They can change from time to time, but ultimately keep track of your symptoms, keep track of the foods you're putting in, the drinks you're putting in, and watching how your body responds. All right. I am going to also link my tracking documents below where you can download those for monitoring your output, monitoring the foods you eat, your medication, emergency contacts. And yeah, I will link that below so you can go ahead and click and download those for free from my website. All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening.